is light trapped in you at this very moment, and it is slowly draining your presence without you noticing. You wake up tired, feel an indefinable weight in the center of your chest. Your breath is short, and you can't get the air to drop below the sternum. This silent loss is not emotional frailty nor clinical depression. It is the misalignment between the thymus and the hidden code of the 22 lines of light of the diamond body, the forgotten vibrational architecture that organizes your vitality. In minutes, you will feel your chest open, your breath drop, and your presence return through the Thymus Ritual, a somatic gesture that reignites the central point of this code. Closing this video now means losing the rare knowledge that names bodily sensations you've carried for years without being able to explain. You will go on compensating, trying to function without the axis that sustains your internal energy, living always one step behind your own body. What keeps this light silent is a measurable, reversible block accessible through your own hands. The complete mechanism of how this misalignment happens and the precise path to release the trapped light comes now. The thymus is not just a forgotten gland in the center of the chest. It is the convergence point where immunity, emotion, and somatic presence intertwine. When this center loses coherence, whether through inherited trauma, ancestral shame, or a chronic threat state, the 22 lines of light of the diamond body become disorganized and you enter permanent compensation. The sternum retracts, breathing gets stuck in the upper chest, the fascia hardens, and you start living as if you're always trying to catch up with your own body. These 22 lines of light are the vibrational architecture that organizes the vitality and inner direction of your being. The thymus functions as the central node of this mesh, the point where life force converges before radiating through the rest of the body. When you reignite this center through the Thymus Ritual, the trapped light begins to flow in a measurable way. The chest opens, the breath naturally descends to the abdomen, warmth returns to the sternum, and you feel presence reorganize from the inside out. In the mystery schools of ancient Egypt, the body was understood as an electro-vibrational temple crossed by main lines of light, channels through which life force circulated among the centers of power. These lines were not mystical abstractions, but direct perceptions of practitioners trained in expanded states of consciousness. The thymus occupied the central point of this matrix, known as the chamber where the inner flame is lit or extinguished depending on the degree of alignment between the being and its trajectory. Modern neuroscience has revealed that the thymus secretes peptides that directly influence the autonomic nervous system, modulating the stress response and the body's ability to distinguish safety from threats. Stephen Porges showed that this center responds to the polyvagal state. Candice Pert explained how unprocessed emotions crystallize in connective tissue. Gerald Pollack demonstrated that bodily water organizes into crystalline structures capable of storing vibrational information. Ancestral knowledge was not vague mysticism. It was a precise reading of an architecture that science now names with terms like piezoelectric fascia and neurophysiological coherence. Reigniting the thymus is not an abstract technique. It is a gesture you can feel in the body within seconds. Locate the exact point now. The thymus sits behind the sternum, 2 fingers above the place where the ribs meet in the center of the chest. Press gently with your fingertips, keeping firm yet delicate contact for a full 30 seconds. You are not massaging the tissue. You are anchoring attention in a point the nervous system forgot to recognize. It's like turning on the light in a room that has been dark for years. Notice what happens as you maintain the touch. The temperature in the region may shift, warming slightly, pulsing almost imperceptibly. Some feel a fine vibration, like a subtle internal tremor that can't be seen but can be perceived. The breath tends to slow on its own, without effort. That is the vagus nerve responding to the contact, signaling to the body that it is safe to release the chronic alert state you carried without noticing. The thymus is returning to being recognized as an active center, not as a dormant gland forgotten in the middle of the thorax. This point was not designed to lie inert. It is the convergence portal where the diamond body's hidden code anchors into the physical plane. When you touch the thymus with conscious intention, you are sending a direct signal to the nervous system. This center has come back online. Reorganization begins immediately, even if you don't yet perceive all the changes happening in the tissue. This touch alone already initiates reorganization, but you're going to amplify the effect. Keep your hand on the thymus and introduce the vertical breath. It is not ordinary breathing. It is a direct reorganization command for the inner axis. Inhale, imagining the air does not enter only through the lungs, but descends like a filament of light from the top of the head, passes through the point where your hand rests, and continues down to the abdomen. Count internally. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Repeat 5 full cycles. Don't rush, don't force. Let the breath find its own rhythm while you maintain the count. This breath directs attention along the body's central axis, reactivating the 22 lines of light that make up the hidden code of the diamond. Body, you are not inventing these lines. They have always been there, organizing vitality and clarity. You are simply returning to them the coherence that was lost when the thymus collapsed. In Hermetic traditions, this practice was known as breathing along the axis of Ra, the vertical path of light that crosses the body from top to bottom. When you breathe this way, you are tracing again the vibrational map that organizes vitality, clarity, and presence. The thymus functions as the central station where these lines converge before radiating through the rest of the body. Each inhalation reinforces the pathway. Each exhalation releases the tension that was blocking the passage. Pay attention to the sensations that arise as you breathe. A warmth descending along the sternum, like a warm current running through the center of the chest. The solar plexus begins to soften, releasing the tension you didn't even know you were holding. The diaphragm lets go, allowing the breath to descend naturally into regions that had been blocked for months, perhaps years. The sensation of internal space increasing, as if the thorax were gaining amplitude from the inside out. These changes are not imagination. They are signs that the nervous system is leaving survival mode. If there is an old emotional block stored in the chest, a sudden urge to sigh deeply or yawn may arise. Do not resist. This is fascial release happening, the body letting go of memories retained in the connective tissue. The fascia stores everything: ancestral shame, chronic fear, traumas that were never fully processed. When the vertical breath activates the thymus, these memories begin to dissolve. Slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic system, signaling to the body that it is safe to release the chronic tension that kept the thymus in collapse. The 22 lines of light begin to reorganize, recovering the coherence that was lost over years of compensation. You are not creating something new. You are restoring the original pattern that has always been encoded in your body. The diamond body's hidden code does not need to be invented, only reactivated through the correct gesture. With the vertical breath already established, you will introduce the micro-expansion of the sternum. During the next inhalation, allow the chest to open, but without forcing the shoulders back. The expansion comes from within, as if the thymus were gently inflating and pushing the sternum forward. It is not a large or visible gesture. It is a micro-expansion, perceptible only to the one who is feeling it. It is the body remembering what it was like to occupy its own space with legitimacy, without defensive retraction. The sternum is the physical anchor of the vertical axis. When it opens, the whole torso reorganizes in response. The thoracic fascia releases, the diaphragm naturally descends, the breath gains amplitude without effort. This simple gesture undoes years of defensive posture crystallized in the body. You are not just opening the chest. You are returning to the diamond body's hidden code, the direction it lost when the thymus collapsed. The inner axis once again has a clear reference, an active convergence point that sustains presence. Notice the moment of release. When the trapped light begins to move, there is a clear sensation of internal flow, like a warmth radiating from the center of the chest to the arms, the throat, the abdomen. Some feel a light tingling moving through the torso. Others feel the weight that was compressing the chest slowly dissolving. It is not an abstract, mystical experience. It is a measurable, somatic reorganization. The body is responding to the vibrational alignment you just created with your own hands. When the thymus returns to pulsing in coherence, the 22 lines of light simultaneously reorient. The hidden code that was disorganized returns to its original configuration, restoring the flow of vitality that keeps presence active. You are not forcing anything. You are removing the interference that prevented the body from functioning as it was designed to function. The light that was trapped now has a clear path to circulate, reorganizing breathing, posture, mental clarity, and the feeling of being fully present within your own body. Presence does not return through mental effort or abstract visualization. It returns when the body finds again the point of coherence that sustains the whole system. The thymus is not just a forgotten immunological gland. It is the convergence portal where the diamond body's hidden code anchors into the physical plane. When this portal comes back online, everything changes. The breath descends, the sternum opens, the voice gains natural volume, the gaze regains the focus that had been lost for so long. You stop living one step behind your own body. This simple practice carries a power that transforms the trajectory. 3 minutes in the morning are enough to keep the thymus active and the 22 lines of light organized in coherence. What seemed like incurable chronic fatigue was, in fact, a vibrational misalignment with a direct solution. The Thymus Ritual is not a complementary therapy. It is the restoration of the axis that keeps the body coherent, alive and present in its own movement. When you feel the trapped light begin to move, you understand that presence was never lost. It was only waiting for the correct gesture to shine again. The diamond body's hidden code did not disappear. It merely lost the coherence that kept it active. And this practice you have just learned returns to your body what it has always known how to do. Pulse in coherence, radiate vitality, and keep the inner light lit without effort or compensation. Eleanor's voice faded in the middle of sentences, not from hoarseness or a problem with the vocal cords. The volume simply disappeared, as if her chest did not have the strength to support the sound to the end. A 44-year-old writer, she spent entire days working at home, but felt she was always one step behind her own body. Her breath got stuck in the upper part of the chest, the sternum retracted, and there was a weight in the center of the chest that doctors could not explain. Therapy, meditation, acupuncture, nothing reached the exact place where her presence was jammed. The turning point came in a bookstore specializing in somatic health. Eleanor was leafing through books without looking for anything specific when she found Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve by Stanley Rosenberg. The chapter on the thymus caught her attention. It described the point as a center of convergence between the nervous system and bodily presence. She read about touching the sternum as a way to activate the vagus nerve and felt something resonate, not in the mind, in the chest. That night, she located the thymus and pressed gently. The warmth came in seconds. In the days that followed, Eleanor integrated the vertical breath into the ritual. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. The sensation was of an inner axis reorganizing, as if the body were remembering a posture forgotten long ago. When she added the micro-expansion of the sternum, something released, not dramatically, but clearly and measurably. The weight she had carried in her chest for years began to dissolve. She couldn't name exactly what had changed, but she felt the difference in every breath that now descended naturally. In the following weeks, the transformation became visible. Eleanor's voice gained natural volume. Effortlessly, sentences reached the end with the same intensity as at the start. In conversations, she noticed she was truly present, not just responding mechanically. Close friends commented that something had changed, that she seemed more there, though they couldn't explain exactly what. It was not a personality shift or an emotional change. It was the return to her own axis, to the convergence point that kept the inner light lit. The practice became a daily ritual. 2 minutes in the morning, before opening the laptop, Eleanor touched the thymus, did 5 cycles of vertical breathing, and allowed the sternum to expand. The diamond body's hidden code returned to pulsing in coherence. The 22 lines of light reorganized, and her presence remained active throughout the day. What she had been seeking for years was not in external therapy. It was in the gesture that reignited the central portal of her own body. Locate now the physical marker that proves your thymus has returned to pulsing. The breath naturally descending to the abdomen, warmth in the center of the chest, a less retracted sternum. These are the somatic proofs that the diamond body's hidden code has come back online. Whenever you notice your presence fragmenting, bring your hand to the thymus. Do 1 cycle of vertical breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, and let the sternum expand. 30 seconds are enough to return to the axis. Create your point of return. A short inner phrase, deep breath, posture that anchors the new state. It could be, the light is active, plus an inhalation that descends to the abdomen, plus sternum opening from the inside out. This is not an abstract affirmation. It is a somatic command that reactivates the coherence of the diamond body. The body recognizes the pattern and reorganizes immediately. This gesture is not emotional overcoming. It is physical sealing. You are marking in the tissue, in the fascia, in the nervous system. This is the real state, the original pattern to which I can always return. What you have just learned is not an isolated technique. It is the recovery of a wisdom that unites modern science with forgotten hermetic knowledge. You did not lose presence due to weakness or emotional failure. You unlearned how to access the point that sustains it. The thymus is not just an immunological gland lost in the middle of the thorax. It is the convergence portal where the physical body and the vibrational field meet. When this portal collapses, you live in chronic compensation, trying to function without the axis that organizes vitality. When it reignites, you return to inhabit your own body with legitimacy, without effort, without fragmentation. The 22 lines of light of the diamond body are not a hermetic abstraction. They are the real vibrational architecture that organizes the clarity, vitality, and inner direction of your being. This mesh of light has always been there, waiting for the gesture that would reactivate it. The philosopher and mystic Manly P. Hall wrote, "The body is not the prison of the soul, but the temple where it learns to move as light." This sentence carries the truth that this video revealed. The body is not an obstacle. It is the sacred instrument through which presence is manifested. There is light trapped in you, awaiting the gesture that will release it. And now you know exactly what that gesture is. Touch the thymus, breathe along the vertical axis, expand the sternum from the inside out. 3 simple movements that restore vibrational coherence and return to you the feeling of being completely present. It is not magic, it is not luck, it is vibrational anatomy. It is applied neuroscience. It is the return to the original pattern that the body never completely forgot. It only lost the reference for how to access. The light that pulses in the center of your chest is not your own creation. It is the divine spark that God placed at the core of your being so you would remember who you truly are. When the thymus returns to pulsing in coherence, you are not just regulating the nervous system or releasing fascial tension. You are reigniting the sacred flame that organizes your existence. You are returning to the temple of the body, the light that has always belonged to it. And this light, when free, transforms everything: the breath, the posture, the clarity, the presence, the very trajectory. Your light was never lost. It was only waiting for your hands to recognize where it dwells. Now you know the diamond body's hidden code is active. The 22 lines of light have returned to pulsing in coherence. And the presence you sought outside yourself for years was all along 2 fingers above the center of the chest, awaiting the conscious touch that would free it from the dark. If this video resonated with you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that reignites forgotten wisdom. If you wish to directly support the Inner Temple mission and help bring this knowledge to more people who need to release the light trapped in their chest, consider becoming a channel member. Your contribution keeps this portal's flame alive. I want to know, how do you feel the diamond body's hidden code pulsing in you? Write in the comments. I reignite the light trapped in my chest and activate the 22 lines of light of my presence. This affirmation seals your journey on the path of embodied consciousness. Share this video with someone you know carries invisible weight in their chest and needs to remember that there is light awaiting release. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video on the channel. Each revelation you access expands the portal of knowledge that transforms the temple of your being. Remember, when the thymus returns to pulsing and the 22 lines of light reorganize in the diamond body, you are not just healing, you are reigniting the presence that has always been yours.